Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns. In collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India, Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Well-being. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
The blessings of Almighty. We shall continue with today's commemorations and celebrations. Today, we are celebrating Kanvi River Festival and various other festivals, which we'll also look into different days. Today is also commemorated as Global Energy Day and various other commemorations. So let's look at each one of these commemorations one by one. Today, we are commemorating and celebrating Global Energy Independence Day. We observe Global Energy Independence Day on July 10th every year. Yearly, it aims to raise awareness about the importance of alternative fuels. We are currently using fossil fuels as our sources, and the need replacing fossil fuels are non-renewable and require a very long time, millions of years to form. They are also a source of pollution. On this day, we raise awareness about fossil fuels and focus on finding alternative sources that are renewable and relatively non-polluting sources of energy. Michael D. Antovich, a member of the LA Country Board of Supervisors, started this day in 2016. Global Energy Day serves as a reminder that energy is one of the basic needs. Our ancestors in prehistoric times did not need much energy. The bulk of their energy requirements were keeping their bodies running. But with the invention of fire, the need to have a source of energy gradually increased. The fuel for fire was simple, available, and free. But over time, our requirements has increased, discoveries came over time, and everything needed energy. Hence, new forms of fuel were eventually discovered and used. We started using wind energy by the time navigation began. Natural oils were then introduced as first form of liquid fuel. As factories started, the need for the fuel that could output a considerable amount of energy became obvious. Out of this need, coal was found, and later petroleum coal was popular fuel in the medieval era. It powered large-scale industries and cities, but the pollution caused by burning coal is a concern. Hence, we started looking for alternative clean sources of energy. Now, the know-how to make clean and renewable energy. from wind, sun, water, and other natural sources is available. But we are still not able to process enough power to stop using fossil fuels. We made progress in our research, but our technology is still limited in extracting energy from natural sources. Global Energy Independence Day is a reminder to focus on creating better technology and ideas. Greenhouse gases are destroying our environment, and fossil fuels are the cause. So finding a better fuel source is the only way to have cleaner world in the future. The first use of fuels, Homo erectus, starts to use wood for combustion 1 million years ago. The word and the use of wind energy started in around 5000 BC. The earliest commercial mining, Virginia has the first commercial mining, Richmond coalfield in the West in 1748. George Christian Conrad Hunas discovers petroleum while drilling for lignite in 1858 in the West. So the Global Energy Review Report was issued by the International Energy Agency, IEA, in 2021. The energy independence indicator is the ratio of net imports to the sum of gross inland energy consumption plus bunkers. Most experts indicate that oil, natural gas, and coal will deplete this century. There are plenty of other energy sources that use renewable energy. Try to use such alternative forms of energy to fuel your daily needs. Write an essay about fossil fuels. Try to explore how fossil fuels can pollute our atmosphere and identity and discover new renewable sources of energy. We all agree that fossil fuels are not the future we need. So organize a meeting with your friends who share enthusiasm and ethics. Promise to reduce the use of fossil fuels forever. Luxembourg, Japan, Ireland, and Republic of Korea and Belgium are the top 5 energy importing countries. Petroleum was found while drilling for ignite, thus how petroleum discovery happened. Global Energy Independence Day coincides with the birthday of Nikola Tesla. The United States is responsible for 44% of the world gasoline consumption. The first diesel engine ran on peanut oil. A renewable and clean source of fuel is quintessential for human development. This day is dedicated to finding such an alternative source of clean fuel. The day ignited discussion about fossil fuels and the pollution they cause. Pollution is a major concern for us. It can reduce the quality of life and cause the extinction of various species. We love to have a day to explore better ways to reduce pollution and make this world a better place for all its inhabitants. As we all know, fossil fuels are non-renewable fuels. They take millions of years to form sources, will deplete in a few hundred years at the rate we are consuming. It is now high time to find other alternatives that are better for the environment. Today is also commemorated as Bahamas Independence Day. In Bahamas on July 10th, the Bahamas is a small island nation south of Florida and north of Cuba. The island nation of Bahamas is the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. It is a sovereign country in the Lucan archipelago in the Atlantic. The country gained its independence on July 10, 1970. Prince Charles himself handed over the documentation to the Prime Minister London Findlay, officially making the Bahamas a fully independent nation. We celebrate the nation's culture, traditions, and natural beauty on this day. Join us to be part of the Bahamas Independence Day celebrations. So today is also commemorated as Clerihew Day in the US. We love humorous poetry, and what better to celebrate it than on Clerihew Day on July 10th, the birth anniversary of Edmund Clerihew Bentley, the creator of this poetic form. The main conventions of a Clerihew are that it is only 4 lines and has a AABB rhyme scheme. It mainly talks about a single subject, such as a person or a non-human being, and focuses on a key fact about the subject. It is always humorous, which makes it amusing for readers. Clerew Day is celebrated to commemorate the birth and accomplishments of Edmund Cleary Bentley, who is known to have invented this poetic form and made it famous through his collections of poetry. E.C. Bentley was primarily known for his novels, but in his poetry that made him a historical figure in the world of literature. Even after his death in 1956, his poems continued to be published both in print form and as audio recordings. The Clerew became hugely popular in America in the 20th century as leading poets of the time tried their hand at writing similar humorous poetry. Today is also commemorated as Don't Step on a Bee Day in US, in UK, and US on July 10th every year. Bees have been around for centuries and are closely related to wasps. They are mostly found in every part of the world that has instinct pollinated flower plants. Bees are essential to our survival and play a big role in balancing our ecosystem. They are great pollinators, produce honey, and give us food. This day marks the importance of existing of these insects and the work they do. Human beekeeping has been practiced since the times of ancient Egypt and ancient Greece. Bees have been made an appearance in mythology and folklore from ancient times to present day. In honor of these important living creatures, Don't Step on a Bee Day was created by Thomas and Ruth Roy, and it's particularly celebrated in the US and UK. Often misinterpreted as a day that is only focused on not willingly stepping on bees or harm them, the day holds a greater significance. While it is important that one is aware that walking barefoot may increase chances of bee sting, it is also necessary to remember that many benefits that bees bring. This day aims to create conscious about the conservation of bees and highlight the plight they face due to the destruction of their habitats. The insecticides, particularly those containing neon, icotinoids, neonicotinoids that are fatal for bees, along with the pollution, chemical exposure, and temperature changes, pose a threat to their existence. To ensure that general populace is aware of this day, there are several events held to educate people on these buzzing insects, on how to take care of them and coexist in harmony. Bees have found a place in popular culture. A humorous animated movie that released in 2007, Bee Movie, showed a honeybee suing the human race for exploiting bees. Furthermore, Dave Golson's book, A Sting in the Tail, which was released in 2014, describes the biology of bees and his efforts to save bumblebees in Britain. It is important that people take cognizance of the fact that if we don't do our bit in preserving the bees, we could drive them towards extinction, which will cause a ripple effect in ecosystems. Today is also commemorated as Conway River Festival in UK from July 10th to October 18th. It's all about yacht life and love water sports. It has been running since 1993 and celebrates the little town of Conway, which boasts a historic medieval castle and a majestic river. If you are not a sailor or particularly drawn to water-based activities, you can still find something to enjoy, whether it's your love for quaint towns, shoreside walks, or community spirit. Kobe knows how to keep its guests entertained in awe. Today is also commemorated as first sermon of Lord Buddha in Bhutan. The first sermon of Lord Buddha falls on fourth day of the sixth month of Bhutanese calendar. This year, the holiday is set to happen on July 10th. The first sermon of Lord Buddha, officially known as Drukpad Se Si, is non-working holiday in Bhutan. As name suggests, Drukpa Shi Zi marks the anniversary of the first sermon given by Lord Buddha in the Deer Park in Isipatna, India, over 2,500 years ago. 2,500 years ago. The sermon also marks creation of the Buddhist Sangha or monkhood. Born in Lumbini, India, Siddhartha Gautama was a member of aristocratic Shakya clan during the reign of Bimbisara, the ruler of Magadha Empire. The sheltered young man, as the story goes, embarked on a journey outside the walls of his palace, and upon seeing the reality of suffering beyond the aristocratic luxury, renounced his place in the society and adopted an ascetic lifestyle. He began traveling across the Gangetic Plain in order to spread his message of a middle path. After many years of meditation and medicancy, he is believed to have attained enlightenment, the knowledge and understanding of the cycle of life and death, and how to lead a good life of moderation. His first sermon, entitled Setting the Wheel of Dharma in Motion, was delivered over 2,500 years ago in the Deer Park in Isipatana, India. In this sermon, Gautama started the Four Noble Truths: the existence of suffering, the cause of suffering can end, and the path to the end of suffering, and the Noble Eightfold Path: the right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindedness, and right concentration. Following this path would allow a person to break away from suffering and attain nirvana. Post his death, Gautam came to Buddha, which came to be known as Buddha, which means the enlightened one. Siddhartha Gautama becomes the founder of Buddhism in 5th century BC. Buddhism reaches Sri Lanka. Buddhism practitioners are sent to Sri Lanka from India around 269 to 231 BC. Buddhism reaches China in the 1st century AD. Buddhism reaches Central Asia during the reign of King Kanishka in 2nd century AD. So Buddha gave his first sermon in the Deer Park in Sarnath, which is now an archaeological complex. Buddha gave his first sermon in the 6th century BC to the first 5 men that accompanied him. He preached in Pali, a Middle Indic dialect that became one of the major languages of the Buddhist scriptures and literature. Spend the day reading of the first sermon of Lord Buddha. It marks the day Buddhist philosophy was established. Gautam Buddha had an awe-inspiring life. Use the day as an opportunity to learn more about him. If possible, visit a Buddhist temple on this day, offer prayers. Think upon, you might find there is a shift of consciousness. Buddhists follow the principle of non-violence, thus they are vegetarians. Mahayana Buddhism is the most practiced kind of Buddhism. Buddhist monks and nuns have shaved their hair. There is no singular holy book in Buddhism, but they do have several essential texts. Western scholars coined the Buddhism in the 1830s. The first sermon of Lord Buddha is an important day for Buddhists, and there are over 500 million Buddhists in the world. Many people don't know about Buddhism. The day is a perfect opportunity for them to learn about its belief and practices. The middle path is a very important philosophy to analyze. The day offers an opportunity to reflect on it. Today is also commemorated as National Kitten Day in US. Who doesn't love tiny, adorable kittens? In fact, any tiny animals, babies, are so cute. Their heads, giant eyes, tiny pink paws and noses, and the adorable mews they make. We can't resist their cute and funny charms. Surprisingly, Americans seem to like cats and kittens best. According to the American Humane Society, 95.6 million cats were owned, while 83.3 million households owned a dog. There is certainly nothing wrong with dogs, but a tiny kitten is irrepressible. So join us on July 10th as we celebrate National Kitten Day. Today is also commemorated as National Pina Colada Day in US. A frosty and delightfully creamy concoction of pineapple and coconut cream, and the pina colada was first created in Puerto Rico in 1954. Today is also commemorated as National Pizza Day in Brazil. Sao Paulo in Brazil, pizza's capital, because a section of its population is of Italian descent. The Oriundi or Italian descendants in Brazil number around 25 million, and an estimated 10 million live in Sao Paulo. Nearly 25 million pizzas are eaten every month in Sao Paulo. On National Pizza Day in Brazil, pizzerias hold events and restaurants offer discounts. Tourists get the opportunity to taste rare pizzas, including some made with ice cream, chocolate, truffles, and even fruit. Today is also commemorated as National Wyoming Day in US. To celebrate the day, it became 44th state that joined the Union. The territory was brought into existence by an act of Congress on July 25th, 1868, with the government being formally inaugurated on May 19, 1869. The day also marks another important occasion on which women were granted the right to vote. Today is also commemorated as Pig Blueberries Day in US. Pig Blueberries Day is celebrated on July 10th every year. It is the perfect time for the activity as the day falls in summer. Blueberries are extremely popular berries in the United States. They are known to be rich in antioxidants. Raw berries also have most flavor and great benefits. These factors are reason enough to get out of house and go blueberry picking. And today is also commemorated as Political Flag Day in Mongolia, which is commemorated annually on July 10. It is also known as the State Flag Day and is the main state holiday in Mongolia. It marked by government-sponsored events such as military parade and a flag-raising ceremony that takes place on Sukhbatar Square in the capital of Ulaanbaatar. Today is also commemorated as Teddy Bear Picnic Day, which is celebrated on July 10th every year. Almost every individual has had a teddy bear stuffed toy in their lifetime. They have been loyal companions throughout our childhood, which is an official holiday largely celebrated in Canada, US, Australia, and some parts of Europe. With this holiday being in summer in the Northern Hemisphere, it is a perfect occasion to step outdoors, have a picnic with your children and their adorable teddies. Today is also commemorated as Transplant Financial Coordinator Day in US, which is observed on April 10th every year. It is established by the Board of Directors of the Transplant Financial Coordinators Association, TFCA, in November 2020. The day is observed to raise awareness about transplant financial coordinators and patients going through organ transplant process. This day aims to provide factual financial information to all those who are going through or planning to go through transplant process, along with the maximizing the reimbursement for the transplant centers. Today is very significant, especially, for those who involved in this transplantation process as they get assistance through transplant financial coordinators. When the This day started in 1992 when the Patient Affairs Committee sought approval from the United Network for Organ Sharing, UNOS, to instruct all transplant centers to appoint dedicated staff for providing financial counseling and sorting insurance difficulties faced by the patients. Later that year, the UNOS proposal sent a proposal that emphasized the importance of the new role of Transplant Financial Coordinator, TFC. In 1998, countrywide survey of 274 transplant hospitals states that 83 of 133 responding institutions had staff that spent at least half of their work time dealing with the financial concerns of the transplant patients. On an average day, coordinators can check patients' insurance coverage, seek transplant authorization, respond to inquiries, or deal with billing and collections. The results are presented at the 6th Annual UNOS Transplant Management Forum. A recommendation for formalizing the position in the UNOS was also presented. Following the June 1999 board meeting, the request recommendations were implemented. On April 10, 2001, the TFCA, which is a non-profit professional organization, signed on agreement of association. Its goal is to consolidate the distribution of helpful financial information related to organ transplants. The organization delivers relevant financial advice to patients and their families while optimizing compensation for their transplant centers. The TFCA Board of Directors established National Transplant Financial Coordinator Day in November 2020. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations and celebrations. Thank you everyone for joining, and let's observe a couple of minutes silence, and you can fill the feedback form before leaving the platform. As usual, we are observing a couple of minutes silence, prayer, and meditation for the global harmony and peace. Thank you everyone for joining us. See you all tomorrow at the same time, with the same link, with different commemorations. And finally, before leaving, we have a conference that is being organized on this coming Sunday and Monday on occasion of World Population Day and World Youth Skills Day on 14th and 15th July. So we request everyone to register yourself as participants and presenters, those who are willing to make presentations as well. And spread this message to all your friends, colleagues, students, research scholars, and fraternity, and make it a grand success. As usual, the registration, participation, presentation, and collaboration stands free on this platform. So feel free to make presentations on various topics like population, youth, skill development, employment, environment, family planning, sexual health, reproductive health, and all related topics related to population and youth skills development, and so on. So, see you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night.